everybody, how's it going? Stoutman coming back at you once again today, and today I'm going to talk to you about the pickups I made from the recent dollar store sale that they had on DVDs and Blu-rays. You may or may not have heard about that, but yes, recently the dollar store finally got some DVDs and Blu-rays back in stock. This happens once every 3 or 4 months. Random titles just start showing up at the dollar store. And the last time that it happened around here, I went to every dollar store like the day after they started putting them out, and literally everything was pretty much gone. Like, I don't know what it is about this particular location that I'm living in, but I can find a lot of good deals at a lot of other locations, like at Half Price Books or something like that. But whenever it comes to a location more that people are going to be going to more frequently, yeah, whenever there's a deal at locations like Dollar Tree or Walmart or something like that, Target, it's very hard to actually get that deal because it's almost always going to be somebody who got it first. You know what I mean? Who went in day one and got it. I don't know why they're so obsessed with that and they can't do some thrift shopping like I do, but you know what? People are different. They have different tastes. They have different approaches to collecting. I mean, I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to judge. I'm just going to say it was kind of annoying to go in only the day after that they put these things out and there's nothing there. But this time around was different. I went in the day after they started putting these titles out on the store shelves, and I actually found some titles that I wanted to pick up. It was incredible, you guys. For only $1 each, I found some pretty cool stuff. Now, yes, if you consider the fact that I can get 25-cent titles used at Half Price Books, then yeah, I can get a better deal somewhere else. But you're not necessarily going to find this at Half Price Books. Maybe you will. Maybe I would. But why take the chance? Why bother? Especially considering they're used and these are new. New does, to me, carry a little bit of a higher price tag if you can find something new. In my eyes and in my head, the way it all works out is if it's brand new factory sealed, I think the value for me is a little bit higher on it. So if I would have paid 25 cents for it used, then I don't mind paying $1 for it new. You know what I mean? That's not a bad deal to me. And that's probably why I decided to pick up one title here that, honestly, I didn't see anybody else mention. This, I think, is one of those titles that randomly showed up at my Dollar Tree and nobody else's Dollar Tree, or at least not as many other Dollar Trees, because I follow like the Blu-ray.com forums and I was looking at what everybody found at their Dollar Trees, and this was not a title that I had seen mentioned anywhere on that post. So I need to go back and check maybe and see, but yeah, at least as far as I know, nobody else was able to find Hamlet 2 at their Dollar Tree. I found Hamlet 2 there, and yeah, this was the only copy they had. I'm sure that it was literally the only copy they got. There were cases like that where the boxes of DVDs that they got in stock just had this random one title in there that no other store got or something like that. But anyways, Hamlet 2, I recall watching several years ago, you know, right after it came out. I don't want to say right after. I think I waited like a year or two after it came out to actually watch it. And I probably rented it through like Netflix or something like that. But whatever happened, I don't remember exactly how I went about watching this. But however I did, I know that I enjoyed it at least a little bit. And I felt like there were moments that were just completely over the top ridiculous to the point where it was almost a little bit too much. And I'm sure I'll feel that way even more now. Like, there are moments that I think most people would call like cringy in this movie, I think. Possibly. But It's not highbrow humor, it's lowbrow humor, and I don't mind at all. What's funny to me about it is that it's lowbrow humor, but it's also aimed at like a highbrow comedy audience, because most lowbrow audiences, they may know Hamlet by name, but I don't think they really know the story or will understand a lot of the references in this movie. So yeah, I mean, I feel like it was mismarketed, and I'm pretty sure it was not very well received by anybody. A lot of people hate this movie. I didn't hate it. I felt like it was fairly decent, somewhat funny, something I wouldn't mind having in my collection. So, yeah, for a buck, I said, why the hell not? Next up, I found an interesting title here. I'm sure this is on Blu-ray, but to get it for a buck just to try it before I buy it on Blu-ray, not a bad deal, especially considering it came with the slipcover. And that is Palo Alto, starring James Franco and Emma Roberts. I'm just going to read the titles and everything off of here. Jack Kilmer, I'm sorry. Filmed by Gia Coppola, one of the Coppola kids did this movie. That's what struck me about it more than anything, because I love watching like Sofia Coppola's work, and I don't know if I've even seen anything by Gia Coppola. So yeah, I kind of wanted to check that out. You know, I wanted to see what it was like. I wanted to see if it was any good. And from what I was reading of the synopsis, it sounded at least somewhat interesting. So yeah, I definitely had to give this one a shot, especially since it came with the slipcover and all. Brand new, factory sealed, very, very cool stuff to find at a Dollar Tree. Next up, I found a movie that I purchased legitimately and literally just because it had William H. Macy. Well, that and the synopsis sounded amazing. That would be Walter. I actually looked this up on IMDb and could not find it. I had to dig around to find it on IMDb. It is there. It is there. But you have to dig. You really, maybe it was at IMDb or Amazon where I was looking. Wherever it was it was either IMDb or Amazon, and I couldn't find it. I had to dig around for like a few minutes just to be able to find this movie in order to figure out what it even was, right? But I wasn't doing that in the store. When I was in the store, I just saw, ooh, William H. Macy. That looks... I love seeing movies with William H. Macy, even if he's just doing like a short one-day on-set appearance. You know what I mean? He's just a great actor, and he's a lot of fun to see in movies on the silver screen. Whenever you get the chance to see him, you jump at it. At least I do. But yeah, I like the fact also that it came with the slipcover here, but the synopsis, I think, is what sold me more than anything. Listen to this synopsis, guys. A mild-mannered ticket taker at a movie theater believes himself, first of all, mild-mannered ticket taker at a movie theater. Sounds like that immediately is up my alley. He believes himself to be the son of God with the responsibility to judge whether people will spend eternity in heaven or hell. What? What? Even what? What? When a ghost stuck in purgatory interrupts Walter's daily routine, his world is turned upside down. So, yeah. The concept behind this movie just sounds completely out there, ridiculous, weird, what the fuck kind of stuff. You know me, I'm always up for that kind of movie. I am always up for a weird, what the fuck were they even thinking kind of movie. And you got William H. Macy there. It's only $1. It's brand new. Yeah, I picked it up. Why the hell not? If I'm willing to pick up that Easter Bunny movie that I showed you, the one with the two guys who dressed up as Easter bunnies, then I gotta be willing to pick up Walter as well. You know what I'm saying? That was it for the DVDs, though. The last title that I picked up here was actually on Blu-ray, and it was Point Blank. I believe this is a remake or a reimagining of another movie that came out several years ago. I don't even know that much about that movie, though. I just remember the freaking title, right? So I wanted to see this. I wanted to pick this up because it sounded interesting from the synopsis here. It sounds like, a somewhat basic action flick, but it seems somewhat interesting. And if you can get a Blu-ray for $1 that seems like something you might enjoy, why the hell not? If it's something that you're gonna rent at a store, maybe if you saw it at the store, then why wouldn't you pay $1 just to buy it and own it? Why would you rent it instead of owning it when you can own it for less? And I think that's a big thing that people miss out on, don't really think about when they're buying their digital copies for 15, $20 a pop, or renting movies for $5 or $10 a pop. Like, you're paying how much money for these? For the digital versions, and then in order to actually watch them, you're technically downloading them when you stream them, which if you have a service like Comcast or Time Warner Cable, at least in the States, within the next few years, most places in the country are probably going to switch to a scenario where you're going to have to pay overages if you go over a certain amount. I can't imagine how people thought digital copies were going to be this great big thing, and it's just like, well, I'm sure they could have been if net neutrality was still going to still be around in a few years, but I don't know if that's going to be the case with things going the way they are right now. And the way that cable companies want to start charging people for their access to the internet, and they've shown interest in doing this for years now, for like 5 to 10 years, going the same way that they do with cell phones, with smartphones, charging overages and stuff like that. You get a certain amount of data that you can download per month, but if you go over that amount of data, then you have to pay overages. Like, first of all, you're paying for the data now. That's what's going to happen. You're going to start paying for the data. So let's say your cap is 1,000 gigabytes a month. If you're in a big family like I am, that's going to be gone in 2 weeks. If you've got like 7 or 8 people in a house, that's going to be gone in like 2 freaking weeks. All right? Especially if you got people watching YouTube, especially if you've got people watching digital copies of things or streaming Netflix or something like that. I love Netflix. I love streaming content like that. I love a lot of different streaming content services. I'm just saying, it shouldn't be your go-to. It shouldn't be your daily driver. Because if you're thinking, well, I'm going to use this as a daily driver, why should I have all these Blu-rays and stuff up on the shelf? I'm going to save space and just put it all and have it all digitally and just download it when I need it. But you do realize that's going to count towards your data. You're paying for the data to be able to do that. You're paying a certain amount of money for that. It's like saying, to me, it reminds me of the mentality that you're going to drive 50 miles this way or 50 miles that way to get to a store to buy something for like $20. Don't you even consider the amount of money that you're spending in gas to do that? You have to think about these things, you know what I mean? You're not just spending money on the item when you get there, you're spending money to get there. And it's very much the same thing, it's very much the same scenario when you're talking about data and how data is used. I don't know why I got off on this rant, but what I'm trying to say here is I buy things like this for $1 because what if I'm bored and I don't have any data left on my plan and I really don't feel like paying any freaking overages and thus paying $30 or $40 to watch a movie when I can just pick this up off the shelf that I paid $1 for. You know what I mean? Like, it makes a lot more sense to me. Physical. You do not have to pay for internet at all in order to watch a movie off of a physical copy. You pay for the power that it takes to play the device and for the power for the TV. And that's it. That's it. That's all you pay for. In addition, of course, to this. But if you're talking about the internet, you're talking about data, then the price tag starts to go up pretty quickly. People don't think about that, and they really need to start thinking about that because they're really going to get bit in the butt really soon here. So, anyways, I am very interested in checking out Point Blank. It kind of looks to me like a Statham-esque movie, if you will. I believe when I saw it was a Magnolia release here, Magnolia, I was like, well, they typically do some pretty good stuff. Maybe not always great, but it's typically all right at least. So based on Magnolia alone, I kind of just took a chance on it for $1. So yeah, not bad. That was the last thing I found there that I wanted, though. As you can see, these are some really weird titles that they have this time around at the Dollar Tree. Especially this one. And of course Walter was just what the freaking hell. But honestly, in a weird way, Walter to me was like the gem. It was the find. Because that synopsis alone, just, I can't wait to watch that movie, man. That sounds so ridiculously awesome. Ridiculously awesome. So yeah, that is all I picked up from the Dollar Tree, but hey, it spawned a rant. So I know a lot of people like those rants. Anyways, that'll do it for me today. Thanks for watching, you guys. Catch you later. Peace.